Welcome to Pastor Aggressive Podcast. Real life, real faith, real talk. So I was thinking about this, Zach. We have talked about how we're going to get ahead and make sure that we have plenty of podcasts in the bank so that when you go to Honduras in a couple of months that we won't have to really pause it or anything. That's why we moved to the monthly model, all of this. And we have not done any of that.
No.
So I was thinking about how can I keep it going while Zach is gone and still do it? And I was thinking, maybe I do guest spots and have different people fill in while you're gone. Just because if you're gone for 2 or 3 months, that's 2 or 3 guests. That's not that hard. I could probably make that happen. Or I was thinking maybe I just do a one man, one camera, straight shot. There's this
one man, one camera.
Yeah, that kind of worded weird. There's this super Calvinist guy that I see videos of all the time. That's a pastor that just does this it's kind of like he's a news anchor. He just sits at a desk and he talks to the camera. But I don't think that would be interesting if it was just me doing that.
Nick Fuentes?
It's not Nick Fuentes. It's that style though, or the Candace Owens style of just one person in front of a microphone talking to a screen.
Isaac Eli.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And Scott wants to come on. I'm gonna have Scott on too. I'm gonna have Scott, Isaac.
Dude, this is a podcast about the faith, not about Star Wars, bro.
Oh, dude, if Scott was on here, it would just be me and him talking about Star Wars a bunch.
I know,
but it'd be really good though. Anyway.
Yeah. You're not gonna believe just the themes in Star Wars. They just align so well with the gospel.
Real Sith, real Jedi, real Force.
I don't care.
Anyway,
the only thing I know about Star Wars is from playing Lego Star Wars on my Nintendo DS.
I thought you were gonna say something about Ewoks for some reason. Anyway, yeah. So, what's been going on in your life? You got anything exciting going on? This is the thing I do like about the monthly thing is it's not oh man, I got to come up with something for this week because within a month something always kind of happens. There's always something exciting.
But the problem is I can't remember back a month.
That is a little harder.
So, no, nothing really crazy's been going on. Honestly, I just been kind of chilling. For a while I was hating. I've been talking to my mentor about this. I've been for a long time I was hating my job and hating the status change of being a home builder and not making as much money now. Now I do apartment maintenance. I'm fixing people's toilets and caulking people's tubs and doing little silly stuff. But I was talking to my mentor. I was honestly, bro, I've kind of just accepted it. I'm fine where I'm at. I make enough money. I'm making enough money to save for Honduras also. I'm super blessed with the living situation, with having a truck that works. I'm just super blessed. I'm kind of settling in. I told you on the drive back, I was man, I really think I made myself at home here. You come down in the basement, there's just trash everywhere.
There's always a tower of some kind of energy drink can.
With old Zins on top of them.
Yeah, that's great. It's really a vibe down here.
It's a vibe. It's like a homeless shelter vibe kind of down here. Yeah, man. So honestly, I'm just chilling. I did have a rough week with some of my anger was getting to me. I'm having a hard time with women right now. Women. Praise the Lord. I ain't gay no more.
I don't like mans no more.
Oh yeah. Just I'm thinking through this authority stuff, and now I'm really when a woman is exercising authority over me, it drives me wild. So I got some kinks to work out. I think I was unrighteously angry. I was very angry. I was probably the most angry I've been maybe since I became a Christian. Sometimes really? I'll be angry with myself or I
don't know. You've been mad at me sometimes on some long drives when I say something, when I snap back at you.
But I'm not dude, I'm telling you, Wednesday when I was mad all day, bro.
That's crazy.
All day. And I'm driving to Bible study, and I prayed the whole way, bro. I'm praying. I'm Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. I'm saying the Our Father. I probably said the Our Father 12 times on the way to church. It'd go away for 3 minutes, and then somebody would be driving super slow in front of me, and then boom, right back on. I get stuck behind a tractor for 7 miles, legit for 7 miles. I can't get around this tractor that's going 10 miles per hour, and I'm already mad. I got to go pick up pizza for the church. I got to go pick up Dylan. Dylan cancels on me coming to church, And, bro, I was just like...
He was there.
Not at Bible study?
Oh, I thought he was.
No, wait.
Yeah. Hunter and Dylan were both there.
No, Hunter and Eli were there.
Oh, that's right. Eli was there this week.
So I was just like crashing out, bro. But talked to a good friend of mine, man, kind of centered me back in on the things that mattered, encouraged me to keep my personal convictions personal. Stop trying to like judge people with them and this and that, which I've always had a problem with, bro. I've always had a problem with judging people with my personal convictions. So all that being said, bro, had a little bit of a rough week, but I'm doing good now. I've been playing the game too much. Way too much. Been playing Rust. All you out there that know what that game is, just going absolutely crazy.
When you're explaining it to me, it sounded like something that requires too much of you. Like, I don't know how you could not be invested in
bro. Really, the best example is what I was telling you, the people that play the game, bro. These guys will be on the game for like 14 hours straight. These guys don't even get up to, bro. They have like, what's that thing called? The thing that goes in your wee-wee to let you pee into a bag, bro.
What? For real?
No. No. What's that called? They like put it in there and then it like goes into a bag. It's for like
catheter.
people, a catheter. Yeah. But nah, bro.
I was going to say a diaper is a way more practical step if you're just
nah, bro, because you got to change it.
Yeah.
Them dudes do not get up off the game. So yeah, bro, it's like soul sucking. I need to stop. I need to get back on NBA 2K26, bro.
Yeah, you can play one game and be done, you know.
Well,
probably not,
unless we're streaking. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 8 or 9 games and then I'm going to bed. But I go to bed at a reasonable time. I've been going to bed at like 12 o'clock at the earliest every night, bro.
That's not good.
It's not good. I'm low-key sleep deprived, but it's doing something for me spiritually. I'm going to be honest. I was listening to this dude. He was like giving advice to young people. He was like, you're young. Sleep on the floor. Practice the discipline of sleep deprivation. I was like, huh. I didn't know that was a discipline.
Yeah. So I've also been doing some sleep deprivation. And I also did some fasting, but it ended up being a bad day to fast because I had a medical emergency and the fasting contributed in a negative way to that. So first of all, for 2 weeks, I've been fighting raccoons, trying to get the chickens. And it's not like it's like a scheduled thing. Like the raccoons and I have agreed upon a scheduled time to battle it out, to meet on the battlefield,
which will be tonight.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it's the Thursdays.
Oh,
it is
yeah.
While Tiffany's gone, but it's normally Thursday nights when she's working, and actually I guess more technically Friday morning because it's always like 2 or 3 in the morning. And there's some random sound in the coop, and it wakes me up, and I go out there in my boxer shorts and Crocs with that sniper pistol.
With that dang John Wick pistol.
BB gun I got.
With that dang you killed my dog pistol.
Yeah. And I go out there and dude, I'm just shooting at these raccoons with this thing, trying not to hit the turkeys. It's crazy, dude.
You just shoot one of them in the head. You're like, my bad, my bad, twin.
But the turkeys are kind of like keeping the raccoons at bay because the turkeys are really big. They're kind of scary to the raccoons. But dude, one time I was having flashbacks and seeing helicopters and hearing the song "Fortunate Son" because the raccoons were like hanging out of the trees waiting for me, dude. It was wild. It's a war zone out there, and so. The second night it happened, I was just like, I can't keep doing this. This can't be my life every Thursday for the rest of forever.
Bro, it sounds like Vietnam. You're like falling into booby traps. The raccoons
are set traps where it's like Home Alone. They've got.
Bro, what if they like peed What if they peed on the bathroom floor? That's why you slipped and fell, bro.
So then that was the next thing. So later then this week, I'm already sleep deprived, or was that? That might have been the night. No, that was before. That was before the second night of raccoon fighting. It was that night. So that morning, we got home from camping. I didn't sleep well camping because I don't sleep well camping. I only camp because Tiffany loves camping. I hate it. I can't stand it. Why would you pay to rent a campsite so that you can do all the work of setting up a camp and starting a fire and dealing with bugs and heat and not sleeping well because you're sleeping on a platform of plywood.
And like OSB box.
Yeah. And then it's like, when I could just for free stay at home in my bed in the air conditioning away from bugs. But anyway, in all of that, I come home Thursday. I'm tired. I go and take a shower. I get out of the shower and I immediately slip on the floor, hit my elbow, and I'm like just laying there. And I'm like, had I got a concussion or died, no one would be able to get in this bathroom because the bathroom's small. And so, like, my feet are up against the door, and I'm, like, just laying there, like, okay, when I get up, my back is going to hurt. So I kind of slowly roll over, and then there's a pool of blood under my arm. I was like, oh, that's not good. And then there's just, like, meat hanging out of my elbow. Oh. So I don't right now, I don't have insurance. And so I was like, I'm not dealing with this. Put some people's paste on it. It'll be fine. It was not fine. And eventually Tiffany's like, okay, you got to go to immediate care or something. So I went to immediate care, got stitches from a really nice young lady. I think it might have been her first time giving stitches. It's fine. It turned out fine. But she was like, I think I'm done. No, maybe one more stitch. Maybe two more. I'm not sure. She's like, hold on. Let me go get my sewing machine. I'm like, sis, just get it closed up. I'm not worried about it. They did some x-rays. The bones are fine. It still hurts really bad. But anyway, I get home from that. I'm all stitched up. I'm embarrassed because I fell on the floor and in the shower and busted my elbow open like an old man. So then the raccoons come that second night. Like, it's the second night of raccoon fighting, and it was a battle. And I'm trying not to like get my elbow dirty by falling in the mud while I'm shooting at raccoons. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life right now? All of this. In the midst of it, in the course of this month that I just explained to you, I also killed probably 100 hornets and tore down their nest at the church. Like, it's been a wild. I've just really been battling it out with the animal kingdom.
You're like a dang exterminator, yeah. Bro. Mufasa about to come for you. For real.
All this to say, I think I should start taking jobs as an exterminator. Like, undercutting real professional ones because I'm not a professional one, but making a little bit of money because, like, I can do it, but I'll probably get hurt doing it. You know what I'm saying?
You're, like, slipping and falling in people's bathrooms.
Hopefully they're not having pest issues in bathrooms.
I don't know, man.
It's been crazy. And I'm hoping I don't have to deal with any of that tonight. I really need just, like, a solid night's sleep.
Yeah.
But last night I couldn't sleep because my sinuses were all messed up because we have a booth out at the fair and we're right next to this new yoga studios booth.
This Yoda studio.
And they were burning incense the entire day. And look, I don't know if it's good for their chakras, but I know it's bad for my sinuses. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might be vibing, but I'm like bleeding out of my nostrils. So
they're like over there burning chamoy incense. Like,
yeah, bro. I don't know, man. It's been bad, and I'm like, even today I'm still stuffed up. I'm hoping it clears up. I'll blow my nose before bed to get rid of Satan or whatever Muhammad said, and then put my CPAP in. Man, I wonder. Yeah, we were talking about how in the Quran Muhammad says that Satan lives in your nose or whatever. I wonder if that is. I wonder if that's how they excuse sleep apnea.
It might be a hadith.
It's a sleep paralysis demon in your nose.
Bro, I almost made a horrible joke. I'm not going to. I almost made a joke about Muslim men being sleep paralysis demons to children.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it's bad. I've been thinking about that a lot. These guys that debate Muslims, they're like, if you really want to like take it there, you can, but also like Muhammad had sex with a 6-year-old, so you don't really have to get like all theological with it with these guys. But dude, Islam is dying, bro. It's dying because of this Islamic dilemma. Do you know about this?
No, this is news to me. Go ahead.
This Islamic dilemma thing has been going down for a long time. Where the dilemma is, Muslims now say that our scriptures are corrupted.
Right.
But the Quran affirms our scriptures as true. It says for the people of the book to judge by their scriptures, which would be the scriptures we have. So if the Quran is confirming our scriptures is true and our scriptures are not confirming the Quran to be true, then there lies the contradiction, right? And then if they say our scriptures are corrupt, then their Quran is not true. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I got
So there's no way out of this at all. And these guys, there's like tons of different debaters, God Logic, and even Jay Dyer got in on it, and David Wood, which Jay Dyer is beefing with all these Protestant evangelists to a decent point. I kind of struggle with this, where he's like, these guys are converting Muslims, but converting them to what? Like God Logic sent a Muslim guy to a messianic Christian temple or something that, and it's like, okay, like if we're converting these guys, especially Muslims, they'd be more prone to something like Orthodoxy or Catholicism. Right. You know, it's a lot more like their religion. But yeah, dude, Islam is cooked. There's no reasoning out of this. So the people who are still like rooting for Islam are just like null and dumb in the brain.
And you know, it's interesting that you say that, because I actually have some people that have brought to me their concern about Muslim or Islam taking over the United States.
It's possible.
Like, secretly doing it under the guise of like pretending like they're not doing anything, but really they're getting all these political powers and infiltrating schools and all this stuff. And they were concerned that I don't care. But my point was, what can I do personally in that situation? Like, what is my role in that, right?
I'm sure there's a lot of different types of answers to that. First off, being we live in this like American culture where we're like freedom of religion, freedom of yada yada yada. Right. But these are not necessarily Christian principles. Like, even democracy is not necessarily a Christian principle. You know what I mean? A monarchy would arguably be more of a Christian principle than anything. We see monarchies throughout the Bible forever. I mean, OT times and New Testament times. Some of the greatest nations in the world have been Christian nations.
Well, theocracy is really what would be the...
How?
Isn't theocracy where, like, God is your king? Isn't that the idea?
I don't know. I don't know if there's ever been a theocracy.
I think that's what it's meant to be. I think like when the
but a monarchy would be the same thing though, because it would be a like king appointed by God.
Sure.
Which could be arguably faulty, but there's been like tons of great Christian nations like that. So like Jay Dyer argues. I just seen a video of him arguing for like this. You know who Sneako is?
Sneako?
Yeah, Sneako.
That's the fox from Dora the Explorer, right? Sneako No Sneaking.
No, he's this like he's kind of just like a grifter, dude. Like he was a big MAGA guy for a long time, and then he became a big red pill guy, and now he's a big Muslim guy. The Muslims got him, and he was just at a World Cup game in New York, and he was like saying Inshallah, which means God willing, America will be Muslim and all this and that. He's like yelling at this camera like a typical Muslim like chant.
Okay.
And everybody's saying that he should get deported. And Jay Dyer was like, I mean, yeah, hopefully in the future we'll start, deporting people who go against the like common good of the country, which to him, if it was a Christian country, would be against Christianity.
Yeah, yeah.
But
inherently, like the idea of freedom of religion, that is not that, right?
Right. So that's what I'm saying is like there would be things we could do against it, but it's just not like the American way. Dude, Sneako was like yelling, "This is Mom Donnie's New York" and stuff. So I do think, I mean, they say the Muslim population is pretty low, but the Quran's teachings on jihad are pretty scary, dude. I mean, it's not just like kill the infidels. That's not it, bro. It's like go into workplaces and go into communities and slowly take over. I mean, jihad is like intricate, bro, and detailed. It's not like brain dead. You know what I mean? Muhammad was a warlord, bro. Like he knows about this stuff. So it could be possible, but if it does happen, like, what are we supposed to do about it with what we're working with? We remain faithful to Christ.
Right.
we're martyred, if we're martyred, whatever it may be, we remain faithful to Christ and his church, bro. Period. That's it. There's no way we like start another crusade. We start killing Muslims. We fight with what we can fight with. But we remain faithful, bro. There's just, that's like the simplest answer, I think.
Yeah, because it would be like arguably unchristian to like. Well, we've had this debate before, you and I. We disagree about the Crusades and whether or not they were.
I think the first Crusade was good, and the second Crusade was probably iffy.
But I again, we've talked about this too when we talk about Jesus saying like turn the other cheek, and
you don't believe that stuff anymore, though.
I mean, I do.
You're not a Tolstoyan.
I mean, to an extent, I do have a pistol that I chase raccoons away with, so I'm not fully nonviolent. I think that this is going to sound like a cop-out. But my thoughts on this whole situation are like, do we trust God or not? Like, that's my real question in that. Or like, because...
Well, and trust God for what? For him to keep America a Christian country? Newsflash, right. It's not.
Right.
Newsflash, God hasn't made that promise.
Right.
Well, that I know of.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... We have this, like, infatuation with America being this Christian country, but who's Christian? You know, like, which type of Christianity, whatever. We're overwhelmingly a secular nation.
Yeah.
And if Islam comes in and takes over our secular nation, then so be it.
And I don't think there's... What I'm saying is I don't think there's anything we really, truly... Like, Warner and Zach could do about this.
Not necessarily, no. I mean, I do think knowing about Islam is important. So,
yeah.
Like, a lot of these young guys, I talk to them about it because they're like... You know, the one guy I was telling you about that was... saying he didn't know if he should question his faith or not. I was like, dude, you should explore Islam. You should see what Islam is talking about. Because how do you know they're wrong? Because if some Muslim guy walks up to you and he points out a verse in the Bible that you don't know anything about, and it sounds like it's prophesying Muhammad,
yeah,
and you have never heard these arguments before, you've never seen these things, that's how we combat it. We know our scriptures.
Yeah.
We know their scriptures. And we know their dilemmas.
Yeah.
We know that their prophet had sex with a 6-year-old. Their holy prophet who was sinless. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the argument I've heard is that, well, he married her when she was 6, but he didn't have sex with her until she was 9.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
And they'll say like back then that was normal. Back then that was not normal. And then they'll try to, this is a sneaky one they'll use. They'll try to say Isaac had sex with Rebecca when she was 7.
Yeah.
They'll say she was 7.
But there's no proof. There's no proof
of that. And she's carrying buckets of water up a mountain, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what 7-year-old do you know that's doing that?
Yeah.
I've seen this hilarious picture of like a 7-year-old girl that was like jacked with 2 buckets of water on her arms. But yeah, like they might come up to you with some sneaky stuff. That's what they do. Have you ever heard of Speaker's Corner?
No.
Speaker's Corner is this thing. I think it's somewhere in Europe maybe. Which is fitting with all the Muslim stuff going on over there. But it's this like park where they all go to debate. Christians go. I've seen some super good Orthodox Christian debaters there. There was this one guy, his name was Bob. They just called him Bob from Speaker's Corner because he didn't want to give out his real name to the Muslims. And he would debate these guys, but they sit on the corner in like little booths, and they'll call Christians in and show them verses from the Quran because they think Muhammad was prophesied about in the Bible, right? So they'll use the scripture where Jesus is saying he'll send a helper. Now we know that helper to be Jesus or to be the Holy Spirit,
right.
But they think that helper is Muhammad, and
that's crazy.
But there's actually no evidence in the Bible. I've seen these guys go round and round with the Christian debaters. There's no evidence in the Bible that Muhammad is coming. They'll use some guy's name. Who is the lineage? Abraham's son. He had 2 sons.
Ishmael.
What were they? Ishmael. Yeah, they think Ishmael was the real lineage, and all this crazy stuff. Right. Like knowing this stuff is probably the best way to combat that. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, but that brings up a plot point that I think is very important and you know this podcast is called Pastor Aggressive, so it is a little bit about a pastor perspective. what is the role of a pastor in this kind of thing? So, like, my thought on this is I don't preach topically. Now, I know some people do, and I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just like exegetical, preach from the text. What does the text say? Explain it. Too much to your dismay, I often will throw a joke or two in there, but I'm just not like, hey, did you see what happened in the news today? Did you see about this? Did you hear about this? And then just riff on a thing, right?
Yeah.
And so my thought is possibly what someone might expect a pastor to do in this situation is, like, from the pulpit, just be like, did you see what the Muslims are doing? But I don't know that that's the right way to handle this from a pastoral standpoint. Now, I know that there are pastors that do that.
I mean, surely there's a way to make known that Islam is false and Mormons their teachings are false and that Hinduism is false. But there's no point of being like, do you see what's happening in Minneapolis right now?
Right, and I think that's where we see that in the text is when we see scriptures like Satan shows himself as an angel of light, and talking in all of the talk in the New Testament about false prophets.
Yeah,
and
there will be no more prophets.
Right. So I think there's clear ways that we can preach the text and yet still draw light to these things without just making the whole platform like a whole sermon series on how Islam is trying to take over America. You know what I'm saying?
It might not be the worst thing, though, to do a sermon series and get studied up on false religions. Though.
Sure, and I think that definitely is something that could be done.
Like reading Isaac is super interesting, bro, because he told me the other day that he read the Satanic Bible when he was a kid. And he like reads, because we were talking about like if God is true, then He's true. So why would we be scared to read extra biblical things, right? And he's talking about, he's like, I got all types of crazy books in my library.
I have, so in my office, they're kind of like away from the public. They're not like, hey, come borrow this book if you want it.
Yeah.
But I have a Quran and I have a Book of Mormon. I have a Thomas Jefferson Bible that I just got from
as a gift.
Yeah, well, as check this
meme,
out,
yeah.
like a meme gift,
yeah,
so to speak. But yeah, so like I have stuff like that is definitely clearly false religion stuff, and I think that is important. I think it's good to have those things and read them, but I would also not encourage somebody who just came to the faith to read them. Does that make sense? I see what Isaac's saying, that if God is true, then He's true. But I also know that people can get really off in the weeds with some of that stuff if they're not careful.
Well, but this is why truth is so important to me, because for me at first it was about finding out what is true. Yeah. Because I was into like nihilism where nothing mattered, life was pointless, I was about to kill myself. I was like, there has to be something true.
That's biblical. That's what I'm preaching right now.
Yeah,
Ecclesiastes. Right. But I think the point is, so
the thing is, if go ahead.
Solomon is the OG nihilist. Like he's the yeah. But the point of that.
But where does the truth lie in Ecclesiastes? Is
that nothing has meaning without God.
Right.
And that's the crux of the whole thing. At the end, he comes to the point that like, oh yeah, some of this stuff actually is good if I recognize where it comes from.
Right, but the first thing for me was, it is true that there is a God. But
yes.
it does not necessarily align that Christianity is true, especially because we live, I know I'm kind of contradicting myself, in like a Christian culture. Like where Christianity is pushed. Islam is not pushed here. Hinduism is not, Buddhism, Hinduism is kind of being pushed.
Spiritualism.
Spiritualism.
Yeah, that's masked in those things.
But I came to this point where I was sitting in the truck with Tanner outside of a job, and we just got done working. I'm like almost dead, and I just turned to him. I'm like, bro, I don't really know if I believe this for real. Like, I don't know that this is true. And he's like, I'm not going to stop loving you if you turn away from the faith. But that didn't give me out. That gave me wait, I really need to figure out if I believe this or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to live some fake life, right? So this is when I start studying like Islam and studying like Christian debaters debating atheists and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm finding out about Frank Turek, which was a big L, but it helped me out a lot. Lennox, what's that guy's name? What's his full name? Lennox, the mathematician dude. John Lennox, this super crazy cool debater guy. He debated like Dawkins and all types of people. And eventually I'm just like, okay, Christianity is the most historically true. It's the most it like has the cleanest cadence. There's like no contradiction. There's no falsehood or fakeness. It doesn't even come off like it's being fake. The 4 gospels are 4 accounts pointing to the same thing.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday about how they're like perspectives, and that's what makes it interesting.
I have something I want to hit on. Remind me of this, Ezekiel. So it came to the point where I was questioning my faith, and I was checking out these other religions, like, because these people really believe, I thought at the time, that what they believe is true. And they think Christians are not following the true God the same way we think they're not following the true God. Right. So who's right or who's wrong? Right. Well, now I know we're right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the interesting side note about the 4 Gospels, I was listening to that podcast I sent you by Father, what's his name? Father Stephen something.
This was the like commentary on the Gospel of Luke?
Yeah.
Yes.
Father Stephen D. Young.
Yeah.
He used to be a Bible scholar, and now he's an Orthodox priest, like a Protestant Bible scholar.
Yeah.
And now he's an Orthodox priest. But
I have. That's interesting. I have some of his books from when he was.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it say Father?
No, it just says D. Young.
Oh, dang.
If it's the same guy, I don't know.
I bet it is, yeah. He was saying that Ezekiel, the 4 angels with the different faces, are a representation of the 4 different Gospels. Have you ever heard this?
No.
He says, okay, I might butcher this. He says, what are the 4 faces? An ox, an owl, eagle, an owl, and a human, right?
Yes, yep.
So he says the ox is Mark, I think he said, because Mark makes a... he like really focuses on the sacrifice.
Okay.
He says the eagle is John, which he didn't get into.
Okay.
He says the man is Luke. And what's
because he talks about the humanity of Christ.
Yeah. What's the 4th one? The 4th animal?
I don't remember.
Ox, eagle, man.
I don't have my phone on me, so I can't.
Lion.
Yeah.
He's wait.
The Lion of Judah, because
the Lion of Judah, Matthew. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it was super.
Yeah, that
interesting.
actually. Yeah,
that's pretty neat, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, cool.
I thought you'd like that. Honestly, I thought you were going to say, "Yeah, I know about that."
No. I actually had not heard that. That's fascinating. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Anyway, that was just a tidbit.
Yeah, that's really cool. But it's stuff like that where it's like people will say, "Well, I don't understand why we live in the New Covenant. Why do we need to study the Old Testament?" Because stuff like that is cool and it helps you understand your faith a little more.
I think you might have a weird infatuation with the Old Testament because it is cool. I do wonder sometimes. You're making fun of that, but I wonder sometimes. I'm like, why does this dude never preach out of the New Testament, man?
I do preach out of the New Testament.
When's the last time you preached a gospel,
brother? A gospel. Yeah. Like through the whole gospel, I don't normally. I normally do like parables, or I do like sections of gospel or miracles. But Bible study, we're going through Matthew.
You should do your next sermon series on the gospel. Why not?
Okay. It would just be narratively, it would be difficult, I think, for me.
Why?
Because it's so much. Like,
not if you
so
do like
much.
John.
I do love John, but
John's probably as big as Ecclesiastes. How big is Ecclesiastes?
12 chapters.
That's 4 more chapters,
but
bro.
I'm doing it in 8 weeks, so because they kind of like run together, some of them.
Oh,
so I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I think a gospel, I'd be in it for like 6 months, and I don't know if people can hold on that long.
I feel like a lot of the Old Testament is just like head knowledge. It's just like, check out this tie between the Old Testament and the New Testament. It's kind of cool.
I do like that stuff. That is probably a good point. But I do epistles often. Like I've done, like recently I did the Galatians. Before that I did Hebrews. I I went through Ephesians not too long ago.
I'm just saying, man, us Christians, we need a reminder of the Gospels constantly, man.
Dude, I'm really thinking about doing the epistles, Peter's epistles here soon, because they're like, as I'm reading them, they're just fire. Every time I'm like, these are...
You should do Thessalonians,
Peter got that dog in him.
I've been reading that. You'd never do Thessalonians.
I would.
That contradicts the church structure too much.
No, I would do Thessalonians.
You're like, wait, Paul's not sola scriptura?
The problem is, I think I'm not avoiding because I would upset people. Clearly, today I preached a message that probably upsets some people, but I would... I know that there's a lot of people that really strongly hang their hat on like the pre-trib rapture theology, which I'm just, like anyone who listens to this podcast, anybody who's read my book, anyone who's talked to me for more than 10 minutes knows I'm just not into that. I don't think there's scriptural reference for it. Thessalonians, there is arguably the best argument for it, if there is one, is in Thessalonians. But I don't think that's what Paul's talking about.
Where he's like, the Jews will be called up first, and then
no. He says the dead in Christ will rise first.
Oh yeah,
and we'll be caught up with them in the air. But
the Jews, but
that
definitely ain't happening.
But there's this whole thing about like the language he's using, and this is every time Paul writes. He's writing in a specific type of language, in a specific type of way that, like, the caught up with is a whole thing about, like, meeting a king outside of the city when they're triumphant. And so it's not like this weird, like, we just disappear out of the blue. Anyway, the whole point is I know that that's what people would want me to preach when I got to that segment. And I would have to be like, that's not what I believe this means. And here's what I think that it means. And I think that would make people really uncomfortable. There's a lot of people who just love the rapture theology stuff, and that's fine.
Because it's in their hymns. It's in, like,
it's an
their
escapism
culture.
thing. It's just an escapism thing, I think, where they're like, I don't want to be here when the stuff hits the fan. Well, God, what we talked about tonight, Jesus didn't promise us that we wouldn't have to deal with stuff. In fact, he promises the opposite.
That we will.
That we'll struggle with things. That we'll suffer like he suffered. And the idea that it's like, well, I'm going to avoid all that, and I'm going to have an easy life that's going to end in me disappearing before all the bad stuff happens, that just doesn't work with the rest of the text. And so, in that, Thessalonians, that was a really long way to say, it'd be hard for me to preach the epistles to the Thessalonians.
But there's so much more. I hate that we do this, where we, like, tie... like one idea or one verse to like a whole entire, like, dude, I was reading Thessalonians and I got like 3 key things out of there, dude. I got like, first, the traditions, the thing about Paul saying to hold on to the traditions passed down in like the epistles and the gospel, and also him talking about, he's like, I'm about to butcher this a little bit, but he's like, be a normal person, work with your hands, and mind your business.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like this culture for us. 1 second, I'll let you get there. But there's like this culture for us where it's like we all need to be like Paul. We all need to be Paul. We all need to be doing some big ministry. For me, it's like I need to go be a missionary to like prove myself or to prove that I'm doing great things for Christ. And Paul's just like, be normal.
Yeah, be
normal. Be faithful. Work with your hands.
We do the same thing with 1 Corinthians though. Like, everyone's like, oh, that's the love...
head coverings.
They're like, that's the love book.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, that book is all about serving others and spiritual gifts. And in the middle of that, he says, but don't do those things without love because...
yeah.
But we think of it as that whole thing. But that's not what that book is. And so, I know I'm doing that with 1 Thessalonians. Is it 1 Thessalonians or 2 Thessalonians where he talks about that?
I think it's 1
Thessalonians 4.
It doesn't matter. It's kind of just the same thing.
Yeah.
Twice.
But if I mean, I probably would. I probably will. They're short epistles too.
I listened through them in like an hour.
Yeah.
Tops.
But yeah, therein lies the problem. Is I don't know how to tackle that without upsetting people, and I don't want to upset people.
Are you firm in this belief? Do you believe it to be true?
Yeah.
Then teach it.
Yeah. But unreasonably, like, I don't want people to be unreasonably mad. Obviously, if someone's doing something wrong, I want to correct that. But if it's just like they're wishful thinking for a pre-trib rapture. I don't want to just poo-poo on that if it's not negatively affecting them. You know what I'm saying?
We should look into what the church historically thought about this.
I did a ton of research on that when I wrote the book, and really the pre-trib rapture stuff is like really starts to show its head in like 1813. It's really late, dude.
No bueno.
And yeah, there is one church father that and I'll have to look it up again, who kind of gets quoted as saying something where he's talking about 1 Thessalonians, and he kind of some people who are like big time pre-trib rapture guys will like use him as like, oh, the church has always taught this because of this one church father said this one thing. But yeah, I don't think, and one of our more orthodox church history guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but I really don't think it's commonly held belief in the church for like thousands of years. I think it's in the last like 300 years that it's been really big.
Yeah. A lot of our stuff I think our church stuff has been influenced in like the last 300 years, like radically changed, especially after the invention of the printing press. Like, this is where I think like the whole Bible thing came from, because like for probably 1,000 years, if not more, a lot of Christians were illiterate, couldn't own a Bible, couldn't read the Bible, and our faith now is like structured around reading the Bible. I don't think we've actually like talked about this in depth, and I'm actually kind of forming some thoughts on it now at this point. So maybe it'd be a good idea to do a podcast on this, and maybe we just talk about the 5 solas.
We've done that before, right?
A while back,
because
when I agreed with the 5 solas,
because it was 5 YOLOs.
Yeah, but I don't think we were talking about the 5 solas.
Oh, were we not? I don't know.
No, that was probably just like some dumb riff.
It probably was like a one-off joke.
Yeah, like when you fell down in the shower. What was I saying?
Solas. You want to talk maybe more about the solas?
Yeah, because I've really been getting into like the idea of sola scriptura, and just like anecdotally, sola scriptura does not work. Because look at all these churches, the Mormons, all Muslims even use our Bible to support their faith. So it's like...
So I would love to have that conversation. That probably should be a good podcast for us to do, to like the whole thing.
Yeah.
I would love to have that discussion, because I think it's about the understanding of what those mean. Because a lot of times... and
this is the same thing we do with the Bible.
I don't think this is the way you're going with this. But a lot of times the argument against the solas is that they're like, well, it's all these things alone. How can it be 5 things all alone? And it's like, no, that's not what it's saying.
But sola scriptura is saying that Scripture is the sole authority.
I believe that it's saying that Scripture is sufficient in itself for the understanding of grace through faith in Christ for the glory.
You believe this? Why?
Because that's the way.
Is this what Martin Luther taught?
That's the way it's been taught to me.
Yeah, we need to look into this a little more and talk about it.
Yeah, but I think that's a great idea for a podcast.
Yeah,
because I think arguments could be made both ways. I'm not a 5-point Calvinist, but I still hold pretty strongly to
3.5.
I hold strongly to the solas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I do. I really do.
There's some like I dead agree with, like what is it? Sola Gloria.
Oh, yeah. I mean that's the no-brainer. Yeah. Like everything should be done for the glory of
Sola Fide, I agree with it to a point. Yeah. I probably could argue Sola Fide a little bit.
It's grace alone is hard for you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. I think we can only be saved by God's grace.
Well, Christ alone, that's
also
a no-brainer.
But like, Christ alone for sure. But that's not the problem with
So is it just Scriptura that's the one that's hard for you? Like the Scriptures alone?
No, the grace alone thing is hard for me, because you get a guy like needgod.net where he's like, there's literally nothing that has to happen for you to be saved. Like literally nothing.
Yeah.
Like he's like, even like accepting God's grace is not a part of being saved.
Yeah, because that's a weird argument when you get into like the idea of like not doing something is doing something, you know?
He like
because the idea of like not rejecting Christ is the thing, right? But still not doing that is doing something.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, grace alone, literally. This is the problem, is it just gets debauchered because there's no normative authority. Like, everybody can believe what they want to believe about everything, and it drives me nuts, bro. It literally drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I wrote down today in my notes, because, what's his name? Wade, yeah. Wade, wow, how did I forget his name, dude? Wade was talking about like having these different voices in his head, and I remembered back to before I became a Christian, dude. I was literally going insane, bro, because I like was hearing different voices in my head telling me to do different things, and I didn't know what was true. And this is what's happening to me right now, but I'm hearing their voices. Yeah. It's not in my head. So I'm hearing all these different like interpretations and ideas of the same thing. And the thing about truth is it's true. It's not subjective. It's not my truth. Shout out Iris. It's objective. It's sola truth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, we need this is where it's going to get dicey, is the like, I need somebody to loose and bind my conscience, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody authoritative to do that. And we don't have that structure.
Yeah, that is interesting.
What, you can loose and bind my conscience?
No, I was gonna make a joke. Actually, I probably still am. We're getting toward the end, and so we can't really get into this. So I think we need to do a whole other podcast about this. But it's actually not my joke. It's Vodi Bakum had this. He wasn't a joke. He was like saying something, but he's like, it's silly to think this. He's like the churches that like get really into that loose and bind. Like, he's like, people will be in church and they'll be like, "We bind you, Satan." He's like, I got a lot of questions for you when it comes to that. He's like, first of all, if you could bind him that entire time, why you be letting him run loose like that? Secondly, how long you got him for, and who's got him after you got him? He's like, we need to make sure that guy's in check.
Yeah, Isaac just told me about that joke on the phone the other day.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, we were talking about the charismatic atheist factory.
Yeah. Oh, dude, man, that's another we could riff all night on this stuff, because we talked about that a lot yesterday in our Gifts of the Spirit training class, and talking about like what is the problem there, like, is the misuse and all these things, and how that creates atheist factory is basically
the idolatry of the gifts. It's like the guy that came and asked how he could get the gifts in Acts. It's the same thing, bro. It's like we have an idolatry of the stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude, it drives me nuts. I'm literally deconstructing in front of your eyes, bro. I literally am, bro. I'm getting remodeled right now. Hopefully it doesn't take as long as your bathroom.
Oh, ain't that the truth? And God's truth won't back down, and neither should you. Stay focused, stay aggressive, and stay relentless for God's glory.
Amen.